Hour high 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMY.
It's cloudy and 52 degrees. The weather sponsored by the Ambassadors of Harmony. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News. See the five-time international chorus champions, Ambassadors of Harmony, with the St. Louis Children's Choir and Vocal Spectrum. 4 performances only, December 12th, 13th, and 14th. Book at aoh.org or call 314-516-4949.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Big day on the show as we celebrate St. Louis University men's soccer advancing to the Sweet 16. Kevin Kalish, the head coach, with us at 12:45. Some hoops with Bob Ramsey at 12:30. Blues hockey, they won.
They did.
Well, I should have led with that. They won. Amy Marks was with us at 12:15. How you doing?
Good, man. I'd just like to correct you on something.
What do you
said
mean?
today's a big show. There is no small show. We don't ever do a small show, Tom.
Here he goes.
You know?
Here he goes. Well, I'd say
Everything is grand around here, big boy.
say when you let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
It's a big show for St. Louis University.
That's right.
Because it is rare that we would have 2 segments on SLU, but it's well deserved. Pelicans are 5-0. The men's soccer team hasn't lost since September.
Mm-hmm.
And they continue to roll, and they beat Indiana on Sunday.
Uh-oh.
They beat the Hoosiers.
And
man.
you probably feel perfectly fine about it.
felt great.
You're happy for SLU.
I felt great. I was happy either way. I would have been fine. I would have been happier, though, at SLU 1 because I have some interest here locally, not only in what SLU is doing, but I want college soccer to grow. And I think that in this area, Indiana's already got it. I mean, Indiana's fine. My alma mater's got football. It's got basketball rolling right now. And soccer, of course, I want that team to do well, but SLU soccer, man. I mean, it's been a while since they got to this round of 16, 2021. They've won more national championships than anybody else, but they haven't won since the 70s. And, they want to get back
It's
to
awesome,
this thing,
man.
So, yeah, I was very excited for the Pelicans. I watched it yesterday. It was a slanted field, tilted towards the SLU net. I can promise you that. IU was just the whole second half shooting, going after him. And SLU fell into this defensive game plan where they were just not going to allow it. And they scored the first goal of the game, and they won the game 1-0. It was just fantastic. That was great. Good for them. Kevin Kalish at 12:45. Basketball at 12:30. Blues at 12:15. Let's talk a little baseball, football combo right now. Cardinals, no real action just yet. They've non-tendered some guys. They've protected some guys. It doesn't always mean that they're letting those players walk, as has been reported. I think Derek Gold might have been the first to report this. And Chaim Bloom actually said this on Sports on a Sunday Morning without mentioning his name, but said yesterday that just because we non-tender someone doesn't mean that we won't bring it back. It means that they can become a free agent. So the name that I'm pretty excited about is Joel Pozo, because I think that he's great. If you can fit him onto your roster, he's great bat off the bench. It's always nice to have some catching depth. And if you're not 100% certain about Crooks and Herrera, if Pius ends up getting taken by somebody or in a trade, which I think is very possible, as valuable, you want to have Pozo around, don't you?
You do. And I know he played, 67 games last year. So it's not like he was playing 130 or 40, whatever, but he was a valuable piece off the bench for them. I think they're probably going to bring it back, but, I don't really know. And as far as big moves made, because we have a lot of people who will text into the show, and if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, which you are more than welcome to do, it's very easy to find us at KMOX Sports. But we do have, Tom, quite a few people, and I'm thinking of one or two in particular, who just don't feel like the Cardinals are going to do much during this offseason, and let us know about it. And let us know their preemptive disappointment, even though we're not even into December yet, and they're already upset knowing that nothing has happened. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't expect there to be a ton that happens either, other than trading away Nolan Arenado, which will be difficult, trading away Sonny Gray, which would be easier for them to pull off. And maybe somebody like Ryan Helsley, who we saw yesterday, there was reporting that the Detroit Tigers have some interest in him and maybe turning him into a starter. So there is going to be stuff that happens. I just don't know what's going to happen on the acquisition end. There's going to be a lot of subtraction from this roster. I just don't know how those holes are going to be filled. And I would not expect that going into 2026, they make massive additions. That's not what 2026 is going to be about.
No, it isn't, but it is going to be a change, and it's going to have Chaim Bloom's stamp on this in terms of the type of players that he wants, the athleticism that he wants. I think that what you want is you want to gain controllable pitching for sure.
Right.
You want to gain young, rising assets. So, the players, you want to pay right now for what the player is going to give you, not what they have given you. And I think that is really important here, is to go find as much as you possibly can to build for the future. Give me 9-10 starting pitchers, not 5.
Yeah.
You need a lot. And if the Cardinals, and they should add a veteran here or there. I asked Bernie yesterday if he thought there was a chance that the Cardinals could have at least an entertaining product and be in it for a little while and give us some entertainment from that standpoint. And he thought there is a chance of that there could be. It depends on how quickly some of these young players get it together, but it should be a fun team. I really do.
I think it'll be, Tom, it's going to be interesting again. And I think it's going to be more of this, I gave up on the runway word. I don't think it's going to be that, but there's still going to be a great deal of trying to figure out what you have.
I'm just done with all of this. Like, we think we got a chance to win, or we're going to win, or we're this or that. Like, how about a clear message and be clear with the fans as to what you're doing along the way. And because the fan, take the temperature on the Cardinals fans. There is an interest in this team for sure. All right. But there is definitely as cynical a tone from Cardinals fans as I've heard in a long time, going back 2-3 years. They are not in a good mood. Do not mess with Cardinals fans right now and start telling them something and then go a different direction. This is the time to be, you're not going to tell every team in baseball what you're doing, but this is the time to be open. And I think Chaim's doing a nice job of this. I saw last night, he did an interview on KMOV with Tamar Scher. I just was walking down the hallway and I saw him on FanDuel. Yeah. He's on with us on Sunday. He's going to be very visible. He's going to be a very popular guy at the winter meetings. He's very media friendly. Everybody likes talking to Chaim. These are good things. You want to hear from the boss all the time. Not that John Mozeliak didn't do it. It's not a criticism of Mo, but the fans were done. They had Mo fatigue. They were ready to move on. This is an opportunity for the Cardinals to refresh their fan base with information.
Let me ask this question. I mentioned Helsley, who is with the Mets. They traded him already. I have this, I don't even know if I should play this game, but I would like to know what your thoughts are on the idea of Detroit trading for him and turning him into to a starter. And it's not so much about what the Tigers are going to do. It's about what did the Tigers identify with him that the Cardinals did not. And that to me is it. Are the Tigers right? And I guess we'll find out if they do actually get him. And maybe it doesn't matter because he's been gone for a bit, but it does make me question, and maybe it shouldn't, because they have overhauled the front office or are going to. A lot of same people are going to be around, but they are adding to. They're adding positions. They're going to make things a little bit different. They've got a new guy in.
As they needed a closer, and he was easily the best option to close games. I would have to go back and think who was next in line. Jordan Hicks. So it's my belief, Chris, that every pitcher wants to be a starter. They started out their lives as a starter, and they all want. Now, having not talked to Hells lately, I would like to have that conversation, but It's my belief that all pitchers would like to be starters, especially if they have multiple pitches that they can throw for strikes. And why is that? Because that's where the money's made. You don't want to be a middle reliever unless you're a closer, and closers make cash, but there are only 30 of them. So, maybe I'm guessing that there has been some interest in the past from Hells to be a starter. If I seem to remember, I just can't cite it exactly, but I seem to remember us having this conversation about him possibly as a starter at some point in his life. And I think that all of them want to be.
Yeah. And I think teams ideally,
like Hicks wanted to be.
Right. And ideally a team would rather you be a starter because those innings are just more valuable. There are more of them. You're going to affect more of each game, right? You're going to throw closer to 200 innings. You're going to throw 170, 180 innings. And if you're a closer, you're affecting maybe half of that if you're lucky, right? And a lot less than half of that if you're lucky. If there could have been a way to turn him into a viable starter here, I would like to have seen that happen. And yeah, they needed a closer, but the closer is the kind of thing that is much easier to figure out than it is to figure out a good starter in Major League Baseball. It's just tough to find a guy who can give you innings and be really good at that.
Did they have more of a need for a starter at the time that they made him into a closer and needed him as a closer? I think that's the question you have to answer.
Yeah.
So I guess say probably not, if I'm remembering right. In 22 was the first time he really was featured as a closer, I do believe. We all know what happened in the Phillies series. That was unfortunate, but he stayed on and he ended up setting a record. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
He did. It's just if you're hurting for starting pitching, it's so difficult to find.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
really good, legit starting pitching. And I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I'll be very curious to see if the Tigers pick him up. Curious to see what they make out of him.
It's going to be a great offseason. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey. Amy Markscores will be in the house to discuss the Blues win over the Islanders in a game tonight at the Garden against the Rangers. Back after this.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken, and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, is hosting a taxes and retirement seminar at his office in Chesterfield on December 10th. Come meet Steve's newest advisor, Tracy Richardson, as she discusses the big beautiful bill, taxes on your Social Security, and more. Tracy will not only cover the hurdles you can face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your
incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
Hi, this is Ron Jacober. 100 years. That's how many years KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis. Congratulations to the Mighty Mocs.
We're back on the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, and Amy Markscores has joined us for our Monday segment talking hockey. I really enjoyed it. I told both of you I listened to it a couple of times. The segment with Chris Kerber recalling the Stanley Cup championship was very special. I mean, what a great time in our lives that was.
Oh, what a run. And obviously, I was there with Alex Ferrario. We were doing some of the pre and post game at the time. Chris Raby was there, Ben Boyd, and Sam Masterton, who was doing all the digital stuff. And that was so much fun to have it documented in that way. He's the one that gave me a GoPro to wear on my head on the ice after Game 7 when the Blues were passing around the Stanley Cup. And I'll tell you what, I remember the Swedish media came up to me and said, that's such a great idea to wear a GoPro in this moment, just to capture it. But it was surreal. It was so surreal. That locker room before the winning streak, before Jordan Binnington came up and they were in last place, it was like a crypt after practices and after games. People were, you want to say like the team believed in themselves. And they did, except they were sitting in last place and you get discouraged. And then they kept fighting. They had that trip in Philadelphia when Gloria was playing at the bar and then the magic happened.
Magic. It was an incredible time.
Do you still have the GoPro?
Sam has it.
No. Sam just texted me like 2 minutes ago about something else.
Sam, what's up, Sam?
He works for the Arch, I think.
We love Sam. I did the Musial Award, something
nice.
with Sam on Saturday. So that time was absolutely amazing. Berube's speech before Game 7 is, if you ever want to get pumped up, just go back and watch that. And I remember for myself being here at the station. Cardinals played the Marlins that day. I did pregame, and then I just wanted to be alone to watch the game. So I went, remember Anthony's downtown?
Mm-hmm.
Went to Anthony's and had a bite to eat and watched the first period.
Yeah.
Then I came back here to the station and I watched the second period, and I'm like, we're going to win this thing. So Claibs comes in to do the post game, because if they do win, we wanted him to go all night taking calls, and I would go home and turn around and come back and do Total Information AM. And he and I watched the third period in the sports office. And, sports, when you cover sports, when it's your job to cover sports, the emotions aren't really part of that. Even the Cardinals at their height. I mean, I had to go down to the clubhouse and interview the guys, and you're just excited, but you're doing your job. You don't want to miss a moment. You want to capture and document it. But here, watching it in the sports office, Claibs and I were hockey fans again. And when Pietrangelo raised the cup, well, before that, when they started throwing the gloves in the air, I looked at him, he looked at me, and we both are crying.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow.
You can let the emotions out.
Yeah. I can't believe this just happened. I'm so happy for everybody in that organization, especially Bobby Plager.
It was so amazing. And I was up in the press box at TD Garden in Boston with Alex Ferrario. And obviously there's no cheering in the press box. So the final seconds are ticking down. The Blues bench, they're jumping up and down, and they jump over the boards. They're throwing their gloves in the air. There's no reaction in the press box. Everyone's just typing, packing up their bags, getting ready to go downstairs. And I just looked at Alex, said, well, and then we made our way downstairs because, like you said, it's just doing your job, and you absorb it from a factual standpoint. But part of me also didn't believe it. I mean, I remember were the Blues up 3-1? That was the final score, right? 3-1 with a few seconds left. Was
4-1.
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1.
4-1 with the final seconds ticking down, and I still thought they were going to lose.
I did the same thing. So
I think I even said to Alex, like, man, this is gonna hurt pretty bad.
So if people don't remember this, there were two really big watch parties for Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
One was at Enterprise Center. I went to that one, which was it's a wild experience, and I had never been to one of those empty stadium.
Yeah.
The game's not there, but there's a watch party in the building. kind of thing, because you're watching it, you feel like you're at a hockey game, and then you look down at the ice and remember, oh, there's nobody down there.
Yes.
You're just watching on TV. And they had a big one at Busch Stadium too.
Yep.
Remember that one? And it was a little cold and rainy.
Yeah.
And there were people, like thousands of people, who went to that one too. Just a really, really cool night in St. Louis.
It was. And I I flew to Boston day of the game, right? Got there before the morning skate. So I don't know, my flight left at 6:30 in the morning, whatever it was. Went straight to TD Garden. I didn't get a hotel. I was just going to fly back the next morning. And I think I had to be at the airport at 4:30 or 5. And I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I assumed they would win and we would be up all night. I honestly don't know.
But Amy, I was with you. Even when it was like 3-1, 4-1, I'm like, okay, I don't know about this.
I know, you don't want to let your brain go there.
Because there's always been something, right?
There's always something. Yeah.
And I felt that too. It was not until maybe there was about a minute left where I finally felt like, okay,
I think it was
they
the
can't
trauma.
possibly blow this.
Yeah,
Absolutely
the
incredible.
trauma from the Steve Yzerman goal.
It was
That's exactly what it was.
Such an incredible year, and you mentioned they hit rock bottom and then took off, and Pat Maroon was such a big part of that, drawing the room together, and all those veteran leaders and everything. I just don't feel that with this team. I don't feel that with this team. I in my heart, can they put together that kind of a run? They would have to make some big adjustments to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know if they can pull it off.
I will always hold out hope because I think deep down, I'm just a Blues fan. And people will say like, oh, you're a shill. Maybe I am. I'm just a Blues fan and I love Blues hockey. So I'm not giving up in November. I'm just not. So I'm going to hold out hope. Things need to change because it hasn't been going well. I think if there are a couple guys that can step up, I do think others will fall in line. That's kind of what we saw in 2019, and some of that core is still here. Not the guys necessarily that stepped up, but the younger guys, right? They've been through that. So obviously Schenn, great captain, just the ultimate captain, but there needs to be kind of a swell, I think, of a couple guys just going off, and I think the rest of the team will fall in line.
How many games had it been since he had scored?
Schenn?
Yeah, because he scored on Saturday,
he
and it had been like 12, maybe?
He had 1 point or 1 goal all season because Buchnevich hasn't scored an even strength goal since last season.
Something's wrong with that guy.
But yeah, something's not great. But they are on a line now with Dvorsky, the kid, who I really like watching. And Jeremy Rutherford had a piece about his face-off and his face-off percentages and how he's winning critical face-offs. He's over 50%, even though he's a rookie, even against guys that are closer to 60% with their face-off winning percentage. But what's great is old school Blues fans will know this name, Michael Handzus.
Yeah.
Of the Slovak line.
Yeah.
So in the offseason, Dalibor Dvorsky has been working with Michael Handzus on his face-offs and just trying to be more effective so that in those moments, power play. I mean, this was even in the last game against the Islanders, it was a defensive zone face-off that they had Dvorsky take. So, you focus on the young guys. I think that's positive. But I do hope if a couple guys can just really get it going. One of them being Bennington, who had a great game against the Islanders.
But yes, Braden Schenn, I mentioned him a minute ago. He scored on Saturday. He had not scored before that since October 28th against the Red Wings. So that's a lot of time in between.
They terminated the contract of Texier, and Canadiens signed him to $1 million.
Yeah, they did. They signed him. Meanwhile, Logan Mailloux was called up. You might have said that already. I believe he's playing tonight, and he was practicing with Cam Fowler on that third defensive pairing.
Bennington with 30 saves against the Islanders. That's the kind of performance you're going to need out of your goaltending. As much as he's part of St. Louis sports history, he's got to be better, and so does Hofer. That's a definite. The New York Rangers, Madison Square Garden. That's one of the great places to see a hockey game. Last time I was there, I saw Ben Bishop shut out the Rangers and win the Eastern Conference title.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a fun game to
nuts?
go to. Madison Square Garden is great for hockey, and Billy Joel.
Billy Joel did a residency.
He's always playing there, I feel like.
He has like a residency.
He's treating it like his personal piano bar where he just walks in and decides he's playing.
Yeah. Well, the Blues have got to show us something here. String together some wins. Not easy to do on the road. They lose that excruciating one to Toronto and then fall to Philadelphia. They beat the Islanders. Let's see if they can knock off the Rangers. Wednesdays on Matrix Midwest with Chris Kerber.
Yep, 6 p.m. Matrix Midwest, the app, or Channel 6 on Spectrum, 32 over the air.
Give Curbs our best.
I will.
Always great to hear him like he did for our 100th. Big part. There it is right there. The Urge taking us out. Back in a moment with the voice of the Billikens, Bob Ramsey on KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
St. Louis Auto Show returns January 22nd through 25th at the America Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealers sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Cloudy and 53 degrees. The high will be 56. Might have a shower this afternoon, too.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, Dr. Rohina Pani.
One thing that's important to remember is if you're concerned and you identify some family history, which typically means first-degree relatives and other risk factors for this disease, talk to your doctor about your family history, and they can then refer you to centers that specialize in those screening programs like Siteman Cancer Center.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
He wants to lob to Brown on the block off the window. Yes! Oh, the post up by the 6'3" Deion Brown.
And then the assist from the 6'10", Robbie Avila.
Welcome back to the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. The Billiken Report is sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri, and we welcome in on this Monday, as we do every Monday, the voice of the Billikens, Bob Ramsey. Hello, Rammer.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you. We're going to hear from Kevin Kalish at 12:45. Let's first tip of the cap to the men's soccer team. How about that, knocking off Indiana and going to the Sweet 16?
Yeah, first time ever in the NCAA tournament. They got Indiana, who some of us are a little bit bitter over the decades at Indiana for stealing all of our great, not all, but many of our great local players, and who have taken them to many NCAA tournaments. I think this is the 39th for Indiana, and so that was a nice little get back. And Kalish and the squad moving forward, very excited for them.
It is exciting, and it's a great time to be a Billiken. This men's basketball team is 5-0. They look great. I mean, they're scoring. They're spreading the scoring around. Defensively, they've been good. Where do you see them right now matching up against Santa Clara, which is the biggest test to date on Thanksgiving night?
You know, what's interesting about Santa Clara, they're really close, I think, within 10 spots in Ken Palm. Not that that's the end all, but it is a theoretically an objective ranking of teams. So, you don't want to make too much out of it, but it is a nice, just kind of a nice place to look. Santa Clara has played a tougher schedule than the Billikens and gotten some very nice wins. They're undefeated as well. What's odd when you look at their stats, they don't shoot it great, but they defend great. So this will be a real interesting matchup. Can they stop the Bills running? Can they kind of lock down that downhill guard drive and either score or kick out? Can they defend that and try and impose their will to slow the thing down a little bit? I think it's going to be a real fun matchup, and it'll be the stiffest test of the year. When it's all said and done, they might be the best team the Billikens play all year.
Now, if it is we've talked a little bit about the A10, and now that you mentioned that, let me ask you this. I think it's a nice transition here because you've got still multiple teams in the conference that are 5-0, a lot of 4-0 teams, a lot of the teams that you would expect to be there. And at what point do you feel comfortable having a good idea of what these teams in the A10 are? Is it not until they get into conference play, or do you think you have a pretty good one before you get to the end of December?
After the first couple of weeks, you do start to get a feel for it. The shock of the league is that the Loyola Ramblers are not good.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were going to be one of those top 3 or 4 teams, but they are not good, which leaves an opening. And I think there is a little bit of separation. I would tell you that I think this doesn't really give you much, but that St. Louis, along with VCU, Dayton, Davidson, George Mason, and George Washington, I think 3 or 4 teams will emerge, and we'll probably talk about this in another 6-7 weeks. But I think among those teams that play the contenders I mentioned twice, 1 or 2 of those teams are going to sweep the home and homes. And those are the things to look for. Otherwise, you'll be cannibalizing each other. If you split with Dayton and split with VCU, and VCU splits with Davidson, and you see what I'm saying, the splits won't help themselves or the league. But the teams that can sweep the home and homes in league, they're going to be the ones that will emerge. We're a little ahead to start really focusing on that, but I think that's what will happen.
No, that's interesting. I'm going to focus on this non-conference a little bit and say that if they get through this non-conference unscathed, they'll be ranked. I think that there's a chance of that they'll be. I mean, I remember the H. Waldman, Erwin Claggett, Scott Highmark team, as you do, Charlie Spoonhour, and that team. If I recall, they started the season like 18-0, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, a real hot number. That's right.
Real hot, and it's not like, they played a murderer's row, but they just kept stacking wins, and suddenly they had everybody's attention. They were the talk of the town, and I think this is one of the more entertaining teams. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think they're capable of doing it.
Well, and if you do that, again, the strength of schedule won't be great, but it's going to start bumping up here over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Because you've already beaten a Mountain West team. You'll have an opportunity to face 2 West Coast teams, which is on par with the Atlantic 10. I'm sure the folks on the West Coast would think better. Actually, it'd be 3. I forgot Marymount.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have a chance to play either an ACC team or a Big Ten team. So you're right. If you can sweep those, you'd be ranked or right on the verge of it. Here's the thing. I have to go back and look at the exact date. I should have done it. But it must be, 15 years ago, maybe a couple years more, when the Majerus team kind of got national notice. It was a Thanksgiving tournament. It was in Southern California. You won that tournament. That was a 3-game tournament in Anaheim. You won the championship by beating Villanova, and you were really rolling. But they had a trap game tacked onto the trip, and guess where it was? Loyola Marymount. And you go into Loyola Marymount feeling great about yourself, and you weren't ready for the Loyola game, and they brought you kind of back down to earth a little bit. So that was a great Majerus team. We think this could be a great Shirts team, and we'll see how it plays out over the next 8 days.
I just want to mention this. I don't think we did, though, because you're talking about the possibility of them being ranked. They are getting a couple of votes in the coaches poll.
They did get. I saw somebody snuck a vote in that coaches poll.
Yeah, there's 2. Yeah, I mean, right in front of Butler.
And Raj, that doesn't surprise me as much as the writers poll, because coaches know each other. And I'm learning over this last year how much respect coaches around the country and in the NBA, how much respect they have for Josh Shirts. His NBA connections have part and parcel kind of fueled this style that we're seeing in this heavy analytics style. And so the coaches poll thing doesn't surprise me that much.
Yeah, and unless I'm missing something, and I'm doing a real quick look here, I don't see any other A10 teams getting votes. So at this point.
Yeah, and so like I say, we'll see. And Tom, I love your scenario where you get to New Year's Day we play St. Joe's, I think. Anyway, New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. And you get to there undefeated, then you just might be right, my friend. Yeah. That would be some pretty nice recognition.
Santa Clara is a big one.
There's a lot of work to do in front of us.
Santa Clara is a big one, no doubt about it. You win that, some possibilities start to happen. Here's what you do. You have Thanksgiving dinner around 2, and that way the table's cleared. Everything's good to go. So at 5:45, you can turn on Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. with their pregame on KMOX.
Or you could have it on during dinner.
No, no. Well, you need, because everyone's talking. You need concentration.
And I'm yelling at you. You don't want that.
Well, I'd rather you yell than people yelling at each other.
It depends. That's right.
It's going to be a great night regardless. Have a great call. And in the interim, can you please tell us about Royal Banks of Missouri?
I would be delighted. I've been with Royal Banks a long, long time. And I tell you, when you talk about Royal Banks, you talk about a bank that's been in our community for over 50 years. They've expanded, but still feel like a hometown bank. And right now, more proof that Royal is reinvesting in our hometown, their new branch in U City. They've been there before. They have a brand new building. The new branch at 8550 Olive is now open to serve you. Visit their team in U City to discover how they can help you refresh your finances and invest in your future today. Call 314-212-1500 or go to royalbanksofmo.com for more information. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
We have some stunning breaking news.
There, when hope took the mic.
We did locate Ben this afternoon in the city of Kirkwood. And we've also located Sean Hornbeck.
Sean Hornbeck was sometimes seen outside the basement apartment where he and Ben Ownby were recently found. 14-year-old Montserrat Arias remembers hearing noises come from the basement apartment.
Someone was talking to him, and he would respond, but not yelling at him at all.
11-year-old Sean Hornbeck wouldn't come home for 1,558 days.
The crimes against Sean and Ben are among the worst that any parent could ever encounter.
Their captor, pizza parlor manager Michael Devlin, eventually pled guilty.
What really just made me hold on strong is knowing that my parents will always look for me.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey there, it's Steven, the owner of the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Court Camera. Each day, people bring us their family history, single photos in need of restoration, piles of photos wanting them to be scanned, boxes of slides, albums, videotapes, DVDs, and even old home movies. We take them and digitize them, or what we call scan them at high resolution, and place them on a USB thumb drive. Plus, many people want additional copies for the rest of the family. Yes, we'll make you copies. Here's the best part. You don't have to send them out of St. Louis and have the chance of losing them. If needed, we can fix or restore the entire image or images. We are slightly higher priced than the internet, but our quality is top notch. Remember the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Court Camera. Come visit Mark, Derek, Daryl, Tony, and me, Steven, at our store. You can reach us at 314-567-3456 or Google the Photo Pros or even Creve Court Camera.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is open Wednesday, November 26th through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington U Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. Get more info at KMOX.com.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
That is the sound of a great accomplishment, a great victory for St. Louis University men's soccer in Bloomington on Sunday, defeating Indiana for the first time in the NCAA tournament and advancing to the Sweet 16. With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman on the Gashouse Gang. We're sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and we're joined on the line by the head coach of the Billikens, Kevin Kalish. Coach, congratulations. What a great, great victory.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. It was definitely a great day to be a Billiken.
I've always enjoyed talking to you and chatting about this team, and I always sense a positivity coming from you, and there was a lot of confidence, I feel like, going into this game based on the last two times that you faced him. You beat him here last year and fell just short the last time around. What did you see that made you feel like you could go after him this time?
Yeah, look, I think we're in really good form right now as a team. You know, we've really been. I would say we've just gone through just a ton of different adversity and different types of games throughout the last 2 months, and it kind of really prepared us well for going through Bloomington and having to win a hard road game. Yeah, and then obviously, yeah, we're very familiar with Indiana. Obviously, playing them earlier in the year definitely, I think, it gave us some familiarity to what we were up against, and put together a good game plan, and the guys did a great job executing.
In terms of that game plan, how much did you stick to what you planned to do before you went into it as the game unfolded?
Look, I think this game was just unique in the sense of the timing of it, right? I think they were gracious enough to put us at 11 a.m. Eastern time after a 7 o'clock game on Thursday night, which just didn't give us a ton of time, not only prep but also just to recover as a team. And coming off a double overtime game against Kentucky, a double overtime game in the conference final against Dayton, which was less than a week ago. It was, we had to put together a plan that made sense for, just where we're at physically. I think, not an easy task to recover, especially when they're on, a couple, I would say, 14 days rest, 10 days rest or whatnot, which when they last played. So, yeah, just thought from our perspective, we needed to go there and keep them off the board and wait for opportunities to put one away. And Tanner did a great job of doing that.
Tanner Anderson, he scored that goal in the 17th minute. The Quincy Notre Dame product gets it done, and that's huge for you because, as you said, you were ready. You had a game plan. Your team's kind of built for that defensive style, and you did that, and getting that first goal was enormous, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, definitely. I'm not sure how the game would have played if it would stayed 0-0. I think it may have gone to pens. We may have been able to nick one later on the restart, but yeah, getting that early goal just gave us a lot of confidence. And we got Jeremy's, like I've mentioned before, the best goalkeeper in the country. So when you had him and our back line did a great job. Just they're a very potent attack. I think they're second in the country in goals scored. With the number one forward in the country, with 16 goals, we had to really do a good job of limiting his actions, and I think Quinton and Drake and JC and the rest of the guys did an unbelievable job.
Yeah, so this team is it's a nice milestone for SLU soccer getting this win. Now they will go up against a team in Bryant, which is a school out of Rhode Island, and they have had their first tournament win in a national tournament win in the NCAA. What do we know about this team?
Yeah, I mean, Bryant's been a team that's been in the top 5 all year long. I think they've only lost one game all year. So, I know they're obviously a very talented team. I understand they're a very old team, a lot of graduate school students. So, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of what I know of them out. I know they're very well coached. I know they're a very good side. They'll be talented. So now it's going to be trying to dive into some video and getting a better feel for what we're going to be going up against. But, yeah, I mean, at this stage, everybody's good. And, in college soccer, Brian maybe doesn't have the name brand of some of the other Power Fives and whatnot, but you can definitely put together a quality team, and especially with the transfer portal now and the way things are going, you can build teams in different ways. And sounds like he's built an older, more international based team, and so we're excited to go out there and compete.
Just from a coaching perspective, and you're talking about watching film, what sorts of things are you looking for when you do really start to buckle down and get to it and look at your next opponent? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing in any sport, right? What their strengths and weaknesses are, just kind of how they go about, whether it's creating chances or how they go about conceding goals, or just kind of individual matchups. Pretty much what you'd think you'd see in most other sports as well, and soccer is no different from that perspective. So, just trying to get a better feel for how they want the game to be played, and then we'll kind of look at our team and what we do really well, and see if where we can potentially kind of exploit some weaknesses, or even just play to our strengths. Maybe it's a matchup or whatnot. So, I would think pretty similar to what you see in most sports that's out there.
Kevin Kalish is with us. Final thing, when you talk about St. Louis soccer, it is in your blood. You were raised here. You were a Billiken. You were part of their athletic lore, part of their Hall of Fame, and All-American. What does it mean to be part of this right now as a St. Louis University coach? And What is it that has taken you to this next level, and perhaps what could take you to further levels? Where has St. Louis University soccer grown most?
Well, I think honestly, it's. I've always been a firm believer that St. Louis University is the best place to play college soccer in the country. I experienced it. It's like no other. I think when guys come here from outside the market, they realize soccer is just ingrained in our culture and our DNA here, and it's been passed on from generation to generation. And I think it's just different, right? I think it's very rare to find that level of support, not only institutionally but from the community as well. And I think with a lot, and we got a lot of St. Louis guys. A third of our rosters from St. Louis that take pride in representing the community, and it's really a team that's really embodies kind of what St. Louis is all about. It's a really gritty, hard-working team that plays really well together as a group, can deal with adversity. So it's just, I think it really represents St. Louis. And I think obviously, at this stage in the postseason, you just got to build momentum and ride it. And so I think we're riding a good wave right now. Now we gotta rest up and obviously we'll get ready for the next one here on Sunday.
Rest and recovery this week. All the best to you on that, and all the best to you on Sunday afternoon, 3:00 when you take on Bryant. We wish you the best in the Sweet 16.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Kevin Kalish, head coach of the Billikens. It's a big deal. We absolutely love what they've done.
From Aquinas Mercy.
Yeah, that's right.
Kevin Kalish.
We got about a minute to go. I think it's a good time to give away winter warm-up tickets.
Yeah, man. Cardinals provided the tickets to us to give away to you, and we are looking for caller number 4 to the contest line at 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. You got to have a valid email address to win.
Just a 2-day event this year, which actually means more action-packed into 2 days. Cardinals Caravan is going to be rolling as well. No, we do not have the autograph lineup yet. A lot of people have asked that, but there will be former and current players filling downtown St. Louis for the Cardinals winter warm-up. And we wish you good luck in those tickets.
We'll give away tickets tomorrow and Wednesday too, Tom.
You know what else we got tomorrow?
What's that, man?
The big dog.
Bernie
Miklas will be with us for our show tomorrow. Can't wait for that. For Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks to our producers, Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. This has been the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis.